Hey, so this is why it takes us so long to hike, because every like 5 minutes we stop to look at plants.
There's this mystery parsley family relative that we've been tracking for probably 15 miles now, and this is the first one we've come across that actually has a flower. That's the leaf right there. It doesn't have like a big rosette of leaves like I think hemlock usually does, and so that's and it doesn't look like the flowers are just on the cusp of popping open.
We've been seeing the leaves of that one for a while.
Long time. Really curious about it.
And so like is that a valerian? Maybe? I don't know. The leaves look like it.
There's a valerian in there, yeah.
We're constantly stopping and noting what's here and observing. And like right here, this is in Long Gulch on the Colorado Trail. This is like a patch of willow, and a lot of this bushy cinquefoil is on the trail.
It's
and
like the predominant
in this Long Gulch, yeah.
And then look, that tree right there, that is a bristlecone pine. The oldest trees in Colorado. They seem to be.
Well, aspens are the oldest, right?
Yes, that's right. That's true.
Yeah,
really true.
Which we're passing by right now
Yeah.
too. But the bristlecones, like we were trying to figure out whether they were
This one right here.
limber pine or bristlecone pine, but they both look pretty similar, like this bottle brush look.
But here the little bristle on the cones.
But some of the distinguishing characteristics are like there's like all this sap on the needles, which is kind of hard to tell in the video, but and the characteristics of the cones, smell so good.
Bristly.
Some of the ones here are really big.
These are huge bristle cones, like really big ones.
Like
this this is a younger small one behind us, but it's probably well over 100 years old right here.
You know, you can see the ones that are like really high up in Nevada and California, and they're a lot more small and fat and gnarly.
Yeah.
But this is a little lower elevation than that, so they're a little bit bigger.
We're about 3,000 feet lower.
Yeah, it's like in the 10,000 feet range.
Yeah.
So.
And there's old, like the old dead wood looks really similar. Like there's like old dead trunks, and instead of rotting away similarly to the ones in the Great Basin, they look like they've just been worn away by the wind.
Right, you know? That like sort of rock worn look.
Yeah. That
bristlecones get.
Because they don't decay like other wood. They wear away like rocks.
Because they're so sap ridden, right?
And they're just like the rings are so tight, and they're just such a hard wood. And
well, so also right here we're kind of like up from the main, like right over there. That's kind of the lowest dip, where there's like a main stream of water, but then there's all these little creeks that kind of run into it. That's where like the lowest boggy area is.
Yeah.
And
there's like trout and
fish. Yeah, there's pedicularis, the elephant's head.
Tons of pedicularis. So far in the past 20 miles, we've seen 4 different species of pedicularis, right? 4,
unless there was a little elephant's head species, which when I was hanging out in the high Sierras of California, there was like there was like the big elephant's head and the little, but.
Yeah, we've kind of seen both.
We're not sure if it's just, but we definitely know there's elephant's head.
Yeah.
And there's this bushy willow behind us, and we've seen like Engelmann spruce, lodgepole pine. Mm-hmm. Lodgepole has the closed cone pine.
Yeah, I think the predominant trees, other than from what we can see, the bristlecone likes to stick to the edge of the meadow and the forest, and then in the predominant community is like Engelmann spruce and lodgepole pine.
And then some other kinds of spruce, possibly? I don't know.
I think, I'm not super savvy on reading my spruce, but there's also the whortleberry, which is like the dwarf tiny little huckleberry that has like little berries that are like just so tiny, and there's parts where it's just like Engelmann spruce and lodgepole pine, and the forest floor is just covered.
Maybe a little uva ursi as well.
Yeah, right.
And it's just, there's so much. We've like,
so cool.
Like even right now, I'm like, oh, there's like a herbaceous cinquefoil, there's wild strawberry, and there's a yellow paintbrush, and there's a either a delphinium or
Monkshood.
monkshood. It's hard to tell from here. So we're having a good time.
Yeah, it's like plant geeks paradise, and we've been planting biscuit roots and camas, and
Yeah, we just planted camas along a stream, and we GPS pointed the spot for our record keeping, and we've been doing that with all of our plantings.
Yeah.
And we're doing it in places that make sense, like the wettest areas, you have a wet meadow mix.
Yeah, areas that get like really sloppy in the spring runoff, but then dry up a little bit later. We're planting a wetland mix with like white brodia, a wetland onion, a type of wetland liking biscuit root, and camas. And on the drier areas that still get kind of wet in the spring runoff, we're planting yampa and different kinds of biscuit roots, and then fritillaria.
And wild onions.
And wild onions.
And then the
and
biscuit.
wild garlic stuff. And
yeah.
So yeah, we've been having fun planting as we go. Plan to go.
Well, let's walk a little bit so we can like get a view of where we are and just the trail and stuff. So.
Little kind of mustard.
It's constant. We're like, oh my god, this thing. Is this the buttercup? Mustard, some kind of mustard.
Usually people hate walking behind me because I like walk and I'm like, oh my god. Gotta stop every minute to look at any plant. Right here, kind of hard to see, but there's a lot of elephant's head right in here. There's some places in these meadows where it was just like purple hues of.
Like you could see it from here, but.
You could see it from a long ways away, but yeah, there's a bunch of elephant's head pedicularis in there.
It's kind of an indication of how boggy it is, I feel like.
Yeah.
Too.
And then that yellow pedicularis grows up one
layer higher.
One layer higher where it's like kind of wet, and it grows with the biscuit roots too, you know, and freaking cool. The plants just teach you so much about how to read the land, and the land teaches you how to track plants. And
and right now we're headed uphill just slightly, but it's a pretty easy day walking, and we're just taking our sweet time today. And there it is. I don't know if you can see it on the phone camera, but such a cool plant.
And we feel so blessed too, because like all of the plants that we need for medicine are here for us, you know.
There it is. Little elephant's head. And mosquitoes. It's like, as soon as you stop. They haven't been that bad, but. Well, I hate to leave Long Gulch, but we're kind of on our way out a couple more miles, and steadily getting higher in elevation too. Wow, look at those things. And from here you can really see the valley. Look at that. Well, I'm gonna put my phone away now. But bye. Bye.